Lots of activity here at Newport Yachting Center. A lot of boats queuing up here to go south. People are going all over the place. There's some people going to Bermuda like us, other people going down the East Coast, down to the Carolinas or further. Everyone's kind of waiting on weather right now. It looks real nice today, but we got some pretty heavy stuff coming this weekend. Everyone's going to wait on that.
We're preparing for another extended sailing trip to the Caribbean for the winter. And here are some of the preparations we've done in the days before heading offshore to Bermuda. Well, it's a little hairy around the sail drive, surprisingly. The bottom itself, it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna see what I can get. Okay, got a lot of growth around the water line here. Not too much on the bottom. Just trying to get her cleaner so she'll sail faster.
One of the things on our to-do list is to top off the fuel. We've been looking for a time when the winds would be a little bit lower, even though the fuel dock is right next door. That's been a little bit few and far between in Newport lately. But we finally got a morning when the winds were down in the low teens, and we decided to head over and top off.
We carefully track our fuel consumption and engine hours.
And since we're such geeks, we graph it, of course. We track our burn rate, and we seem to be settling in around 0.8 gallons per hour. From this, we know that we have a maximum range under motor of about 400 nautical miles.
Topping off both of our water tanks. We also like using this attachment on the end of the hose, which makes it a lot easier. The hose tends to stay in, doesn't get pushed out from the pressure of the water. So you can just leave it here and check the gauge below. We have 2 tanks that hold a total of about 135 gallons. When we're conscientious about our water conservation, we can get 2, even up to 3 weeks off of that, especially when we're bathing in the warm Caribbean waters.
While we're sitting here on the dock and had some help from our friends, we took this time to pimp our ride.
AReGONE's most importantly going to be strong and safe, but she's also going to be fast and she's going to be pretty. So I'm working on giving the teak a good cleaning. It's going to be a while before we have access to a lot of fresh water. So I use a product called Snappy Parts 1 and 2 to keep the teak combings in the teak cockpit nice and clean. My dear friend Lori also stopped by to help with some chores.
What you doing?
I am just polishing up the chrome up front.
Are you being paid appropriately?
I am. You
Okay.
guys are very generous.
Okay.
We've done safety checks, including tightening the hatches and testing the satellite, EPIRB, and PLBs. We finally had a break from the cold and wind, so we took the opportunity to go aloft and do a rig inspection.
AReGONE has definitely proven herself in the past, but it's always prudent to have a look at the critical bits of the rig before heading offshore.
Doing some provisioning for our offshore passage, as well as some stocking up on some non-perishables for more extended time. And we'll be preparing food, it looks like, for a total of 4 of us as we take off from Newport to Bermuda. Some things on the menu include beef stew, lentil pasta, and chili. And there'll be an assortment of hopefully healthy and delicious things to quickly grab also. So back to our shopping. Canned goods, of course, can be very helpful on extended voyages. It can be really difficult to come across fresh produce routinely. So I've been experimenting with different types of canned goods over our travels. And for instance, canned corn, canned mushrooms, even canned chicken is all pretty good, and you can make meals with that. However, I've learned to stay away from things like canned salmon, as well as some of the other canned vegetables can be pretty mushy, so we tend to not do that. So experiment with the canned goods and see what you like.
We normally carry the dinghy on the davits, and that's fine for coastal cruising, but it doesn't work for offshore passages. So it's time to take the outboard off and mount it to the stern rail and lash the dinghy down to the foredeck. It's a little bit of an engineering project to get it hoisted up there and flipped upside down, but it's not too bad. For this passage to Bermuda, we're very lucky to have a couple of very skilled sailors going with us. We've got Lance from the Rocket 2.0 race team, who went with us last time, and this time we've got one of his crew, Jeff. Since Jeff had never been on AReGONe before, he came down to Newport a couple of days early and let us show him around.
We've had several communications with our weather router to guide our departure day and time, and we have set waypoints on the chart plotter and the paper charts. Well, this is it. Preparations are done, and this is our final night in Newport.
We'll see you in Bermuda.